Coming. Hi all, Beckie Belote here. I am a creative memories advisor from Newport News, Virginia, and it is gloomy and rainy here today. But I am glad to be here. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Had a lot of irons in the fire this morning, but I'm really excited to share some really cool ideas. You know, sometimes we're looking for an idea and trying to make a really cool border and um, and really, you don't necessarily have to have a lot of stuff on your pages if you have a creative element here or there. So I'm going to show you how to make some fast creative elements. And if you want to kind of bounce around and try some of these with me today, I am using a variety of different punches. I know some of you, at least my clients, they have so many of these punches that you can, if you're at home and you're watching this from your scrapbooking area, I am going to be using, this is called the ornaments border punch. I'm going to have some ideas with that. Definitely grab your border maker because I am going to be using cyclic circles and if you have the snowflake chain, this one I'm going to show an idea with. Get your chrysanthemum punch because I might do an idea that you'll want to copy with that. Um, jingle bells. Jingle bells. I have something to show you with that. The flower pot. And what is this one called? Pet Love. I think this is called Pet Love. Is it? LMNOP Pet Love. I did it right. Yay. Good job. Um, and then this one is Sea Turtle. All right. I love what I've done with Sea Turtle. Okay. So you're going to want those things. Pretty much that's it. And I'll show you some really cool ideas. But before I do, I'm a little excited about the secret box. So some of my clients are really famous for opening before they're supposed to. I mean, if I leave the room for anything, somebody will say, let's open our boxes. So they are always doing that stuff. And so despite me not thinking that you should, that it's supposed to be a surprise, we're supposed to wait, we're not supposed to spoil the surprise. Sometimes with me, when the box is getting ready to sell out, and you know what, I haven't even checked today. I hope that I'm not telling you something that's not true, but I think they're still available. And today is what day? I want to say the 28th. Let me check. Yeah, the 28th. It's about 4 o'clock. I'm pretty sure they're still left. So we're in 2025. So this secret box is number 4. Hold on a minute. Let's see what's in it again. Oh yeah, that's what yeah. So what I like to do is when they're about to sell out, because I don't want my customers to miss out. I know sometimes you wait and you want to wait until people are opening them to see what's in it. And some of you, especially if you're not my local customers, you may not have the opportunity to do that before you decide to buy it. In other words, they may sell out and then you might not have the chance. I love this one for a number of reasons, and I'm going to say it hopefully without spoiling the surprise. I feel like it can be used for any occasion, like it's not themed. Like sometimes they're themed for 70s or they're themed for, hiking or outdoorsy. This one's not themed. And what that means is it's kind of neutrally. It means that it's going to go with anything. And whenever you're working with neutral tones, you can add colors to them to make it blend with whatever you're working on. It kind of has an elegant flair. I can see it being used for beach. I can see it being used for formals. I can see it being used for heritage photos. I can see it being used for just regular in any day albums. But it definitely is neutral with a elegant flair, loaded with texture. All right. So if you like things to pop because your papers have texture and your embellishments have texture, lickable. All right. So Border maker, totally cute. I would be very surprised if anybody doesn't like the border maker. So anyway, so I wanted to give you a heads up, $60.50. It's valued more than that. You're getting a discount at that. They'll have ideas for how, to put it together. So it's a great value. And if you have been one of those clients that have been buying box one, box two, box three, you need to buy box four, or else you don't have the option to buy box five in December. They are being very strict about that. So as far as I know, there's not going to be any extras for people that did not do that for December. In other words, they know exactly how many to order because they know how many people are playing this game. All right. So just wanted to let you know, if they sell out and you are unable to get your fourth box, you forfeit that opportunity to get box five. All right, just wanted to make that clear and give you some tips because this one I feel really good about, and I think that you're going to really love it too. All right, so let's get on with it. Beckie Belote, my website, by the way. I sure do appreciate. I've got another new somebody that ordered from me just the day before yesterday. Super excited about that. I love it when I see somebody that has never ordered from me before supporting me. It means the world to me. It really does. This is the way that our family, one of the major ways our family makes the income. So I do absolutely appreciate your support. What else? My website, www.creativememoriescom/user/ my name, Beckie, Beckie, and my last name, Belote. All right. And I'll say that again later. But thank you for supporting me. I appreciate you. All right. So let's get some ideas here. Thank you for liking what you see, if you indeed like what you see. Thank you for not disliking it if you don't like it. You don't have to like it, but don't give me an ugly gram. It hurts my feelings. Now everybody's going to do it, right? All right. So I'm like, who did that? Who didn't like it? You get all these likes and you get one, and that's the one that you hear louder, right? All right. So what am I trying to do? I got a new computer, you guys. That's not really good news. I break my computers on a regular basis and I don't like it. All right. So here we go. So let's talk a little bit about embellishing without having to go crazy. So if you have an embellishment that pops, then you need less going on. And so that is kind of the theme of what I'm going to show you today. And in doing so, I'm going to show a tip. Ironically, one of my clients, Sandy Gibbs from Virginia Beach, she is the one that stumbled on the fact that the cyclic circle border maker cartridge has these circles that pop out in sizes that work really good to embellish our embellishments. So for instance, the Jingle Bell punch. So when you use the Jingle Bell punch, I'm just going to go ahead and punch a jingle bell for you. When you do the Jingle Bell punch, it's going to have these beautiful cutouts in the bell. But as Sandy pointed out, if I put that down, then you're going to see this craft paper through it. Is that realistic? Not really, right? Whatever, like if purple showed through, is that realistic? No, not at all. Because it's really this a ball that jingles, right? And there's little things inside, and what you would be seeing is darkness, right? So what she suggested is if you use the cyclic circle to punch you out some circles. Look at this. Go over here. I'm going to throw some adhesive on the top of this. It's double-sided, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to cover it with this little black circle. And what you're going to get when you are done is a bell that looks more realistic. All right, so then you have the dark holes. That is probably what you would see. All right, and of course, I've taught you before how to do another cut. Like if I did another jingle bell out of red and snipped off its bow and put that on top, we would then have a two-tone bell to add more decoration. So cute little embellishment. If I did several of these across the top, how cute would that be to embellish this? So we could kind of use it as a topper instead of a border all the way across the page. All right. So another thing that she did is she realized that our new ornament punch does the same thing. So again, I could do this punch all the way across the top, and it's not hard to do. But if I want to embellish it like this, it would take longer. In other words, we'd have to cut the green. And what I did is I cut those cyclic circles and put them behind every one of these little ornaments. I then took my this pen. It's a Jelly Roll, the white Jelly Roll pen. It's $2.50, I think. And just put the little dots across the top. When you stick this on top of, like, so my idea is to put a photo here, put this on the top. If I had another one on the double page spread, I would do the same thing. So maybe just do one border, kind of snip it up to fit the space, and just do one instead of two borders. And then it's going to add a little bit of interest to your page. All right. So that, and I will say that it fits beautifully behind all of the round ones. On these, what I did is after I stuck it down, I took my little micro tip scissors and, I kind of popped up part of it and just kind of trimmed around so that it didn't show through at all. Is that beautiful? And again, I think I got ready to say it and I didn't. Overlapping just a tad on your mat, that gives you a little bit more dimension to your embellishment. All right. So that's one. I'm going to put the ones that I've talked about out of the way. All right. So how about the Snowflake Border Maker cartridge? All right. So where did I put that? So this guy, and I will tell you that this one has been around for a while. I don't know if it's on Last Chance. I didn't double check, but it should be. It's been around for a while. So if you don't have this one and you're from a snowy area, I understand that snow is cycling back in Virginia for this year. So if you may not thought you needed it before, you may need it. So what I did is I used the Border Maker cartridge. I went ahead and cut a border using a dark blue. And then I did the cyclic circles in platinum silver to put it on the back. And bam, we've got a beautiful snowflake border. Yes, I could have used double-sided paper. I could have put the snowflake back in upside down. It would have taken me way more time. This is a faster strategy and very clean. It looks like a snowflake because I used the platinum silver. All right, is that cool? All right, next, this one I actually want to show. So I am going to grab the Love Border Punch and I am going to cut out, I think I'm going to use red, and I'm just going to cut out a little bit. You could do several. And this is really great. It's got a little paw print, so it's good for your doggies, good for your kitties. But what if you wanted this and you don't have a dog and a cat? Is it obsolete? Well, what Sandy shared was genius. How about if we take the cyclic circle, cut a circle, we're going to this time, we're going to put it on the front. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some repo on top of the actual paw print. I'm going to take this black circle and cover the paw print. If you use repo, you can kind of situate it. And now I'm going to wipe away the adhesive that I don't need. A little bit more, okay? And then what you can do, so these over here was my scrap, so I could use this, look. What if I took the other circle and spelt love again down here? Let the O be let this be my O. Then we have love a second time that you can put maybe on a journal box. But look at this little heart guy. I'm going to grab a couple of tools from my little rolly. I know I always say this, but I want to remind you, get this. It's great. It's got a little Lazy Susan on the bottom, and that's what I'm pulling things out of. It's making me a lot more organized. If you followed me, you should notice that I am a lot better at not losing things. So this is my precision point adhesive. I'm going to put a little dot in the middle of that, put it back where it belongs so I can find it next time. I'm going to use my lifter stick. It has a little gooey end to grab that little heart. And I am going to put it on top of that, kind of move it so that it's in the middle. It's gonna be able to move a little bit, and voila. Is that super cute? Something that you could use on any page. I'm missing the hole just a little bit. I'm gonna scoot it a little bit more. All right, hopefully you like that. All right, so imagine a page where I had my kiddos in the picture, and instead of doing a border all the way across the page, what if I just did a little bit like this? And again, if I had another photo on the other side, maybe do another one of those. So basically, instead of two borders, we're getting away with one, or not even a complete one, which means we have less work to do to get these looks. So hopefully you love that. I think this is a great punch. Thank you, Sandy, because that sure makes that just so much more versatile, right? All right, so that takes care of that. Okay, so another fave is the flower pot. And so what I did is I did a border using copper shimmer. This is a great fall color, you guys. If you have Copper Canyon, you're going to love to get a pack of this. But I've been kind of using it quite a bit. I'm finding it's very versatile. So I cut a border with this and got my flower pot border. Okay. Then what I did is I did it again with a different color. I used green. Why? Because plants are green. So I did it again with green. I snipped off this part, just like with the jingle bell and the bow. Remember how I said you could quickly turn your jingle bell. I'm not seeing my jingle bell, the one that's two-toned. Let's see. Here it is. So I mentioned how I could cut one in platinum, one in red. On the red one, snip off its bow and reapply it on top of the platinum to get this look. You can also color, by the way, you color with our markers. But what I did not color my leaves on the shimmer paper. I did a second border in green. Instead of snipping off bows, I was snipping off plants, and I put that on top. And then what I did is I made some flowers to go out of the flower pots using my chrysanthemum. So look at how pretty this looks. So imagine this being my page, beautiful photo here, a fall photo, and we're adding this to the top. Is that beautiful? All right, so to do this was a pattern paper that I used. Let me see if I still have enough to do another flower. Not really, look. I used almost all of it. All right, but what I'll do is I'll grab us a little scrap. I think there's such thing as purple chrysanthemums. So what I did two, actually three. I did three, and you can do these all at the same time. I didn't need three of all of them, but I did cut three because I needed three of the little one. So what I did is I put the little one here on the little vines. The big ones, I only needed two, but if you were doing a double page spread and you had this on the other side, you would want to do probably more than that. And I taught you on another one, actually, it wasn't my unique idea. I've seen oodles of people do it, but that you can go to each little petal and snip. And what I learned is you don't even have to pay attention to where the petals are. Just snip. Don't even, like, I don't have my glasses on right now, and that would be really terrible to try to get it exactly. And I've learned that doesn't matter. So I'm just snipping. All right. And then after you snip, you kind of ruffle it up. So this just makes it faster. The little smaller scissors would be a better option with this. Notice I'm using my Christmas scissors. All right. So anyways, again, you can see I wasn't even paying attention to where I cut, and it doesn't matter. It still gives that ruffled look. And then you can do either the same thing to the small ones or not. Um, I think that I did, but then you can put those on top to get this layered look. Is that so pretty? All right, you can even use foam squares if you want to pop it up. I didn't do that in this case here. All right, so super cute little topper for a fall page. Change your color. You could put some red flowers in there and it look more Christmassy. All right. Let me get that one out of the way. Last but not least, great idea with the sea turtle. I think that you're going to like. So I'm going to take platinum for this, and I have a reason for platinum. Gold shimmer would also be nice for this when you see what I'm going to do. You can do 3 or 4 at a time, depending on how many you want on your border. So don't feel like you have to cut them all individually. You want to stack them together like so that they're exactly matched. Like I said, I have done this with 4. All right. And you want to cut off all of his appendages, but not his head. Do not cut off the head of the turtle. I'm going to really grab my the smaller ones here. So I'm going to go right up there into his neck and just cut around here, cut off those little legs there. We're just smoothing it out. We're cutting off his little legs here. Cut that a little closer. I don't have my glasses on, but I am seeing that that's not even. So I'm cutting a little bit more. Do it here too. And then we're going to get this last little guy. All right. I wonder if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Do these look like fun little ornaments or Christmas lights? Because that's what I saw. And so what I did is I used the cyclic circles to cut out red and green circles. And I put those behind, oopsies, I put them on the back of these little ornaments or lights, whatever you're seeing there. I kind of see lights, but they definitely are very pretty ornaments too. And to do a little string across the top of this photo box. Do you like it? I love it. So hopefully, I mean, your sea turtle is going to be great for your visits to the aquarium and to your to Key West and Hawaii and some of those fun trips where we get to see these things. However, they're going to make some great Christmas lights in the meantime. All right, so I have done some pages for you demonstrating how you can get away with less embellishments if you do these types of things on your boxes. Also, I wanted to point out the scraps that come out every time you use the cyclic circle. It has these little odd looking scraps. So please remember that in a moment, okay? Because I did a page for you with that too. All right, so what I did is I took a piece of paper, I cut it in half, and so this piece of paper was a 12 by 12 piece of paper. I used a decorative blade, the one called Rhythm, to cut it down the middle. This is one of our newer ones if you don't have it. So I cut it down the middle. Then what I did is on the short ends, I cut a 1/2 inch off each end. And then my customers know my term waist strip. On the other side, I minimize the cut to minimize the cut so that you're not wasting paper. The place where you would want to cut it is that first line over here. So this is the cutting groove. So the little dotted line beside that is your minimum. In other words, if you want to make sure you cut as little away as possible, that's your groove. So in other words, I cut it down the middle. You can stack them if you want to, and then cut a 1/2 inch off each end, and then do the waist cut on the other end of both of them. And then this takes seconds, right? So that's super beautiful. These are from the December Days pack. So this was an additional pack that had a bunch of journal boxes in it. However, what I am seeing is 4x4 spaces here that would be great to put a photo on there. So yes, we could use this as a journal box, or we could add some little photographs in there. So I was careful to not cover that area so that we could use that for either. And then my decorative element, the one that I spent, and again, you can see how I was very consistent. I used that blade all over the place. It really pops. And then I did the technique that I taught you today with the ornaments. And I notice how I did overlap the edges a little bit to create that texture. All right. And does this need any other decoration? It does not. Super fast, 10-minute page. All right. Now with these scraps that I talked about, now this is using the Magic of Christmas line. And what I did with this double page spread, I believe this is, I think this is the rhythm blade too. I did really close cuts with it here. And so this was a really tiny cut. This was a really tiny cut. And then I put a paper strip here, a paper strip here. The white that you're seeing here is simply the back of this piece of paper. I took repo and I kind of did repo in different patches along the way. And then I took my little scraps and dropped them on there and pressed them down, and then whooshed away any extra repo that was there. I like this because gingerbread is about making cookies, right? And when I think of cookies, I think of sprinkles. So I couldn't resist adding some sprinkles to this page. So I hope you like this and can see how these little pieces of trash can be great sprinkles or confetti for an upcoming event. All right, so that is all I have today. If you liked my ideas, like my video. I would appreciate that. Share the tips with your friends. Follow me and shop with me if you don't have an advisor. It doesn't cost anything extra to shop directly through an advisor. So even if it's not me, bless an advisor today. They will be very grateful. But my website is www.creativememoriescom/user/Beckie, Beckie, Belote, Belote. Bye. I appreciate you. Pray for Jamaica. Don't just, put the praying hands up. Take a minute right now and pray for Jamaica. You all know they're in a really big mess. So they could appreciate, they